turned into me and about kicked me 5 times. Things that work for me aren't working.
That mule was not going to be an easy mule.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Alberta, Canada, may I present to you Joel and Jeffery.
Jeffrey was a 6-year-old John mule who had lived wild on the Alberta ranges for his whole life. I was the first real contact he had had. It didn't take very long before I knew that it was going to be a very long-term project.
Myself and the rest of the board knew right up front that that mule was not going to be an easy mule, that it was going to be a mule that you're going to have to put time in.
So up until yesterday, I had to rope him. To catch him, even in this small pen, he was just extremely hard.
Jeffrey proved very soon on in the beginning that he was going to be a lot of work. He was very hard for me to get up to touch.
I'll go and rub him all over his body, just anywhere I can get him desensitized a little bit while we're working on these exercises.
Yeah, so when Joel first got Jeffrey, he was calling me daily, sending me pictures, videos. We were kind of talking about how hard of a mule he was to get through to.
And you know what? That right there, he's licking and chewing, he's happy. Are we any closer to picking his feet up? Probably.
And just talking about how anxious Jeffrey was about everything.
As soon as I turned my body to go undo his halter, he sucked back and just went flying, and after that it was probably at least a good 40 minutes to an hour of me trying to just kind of get up to him, touch his shoulder, and just relax him. And I can't even get the halter off this mule. I felt kind of like a failure. And this is at the point where Jeffrey would turn and kick you. He had no regard for any human welfare or anything like that. He was out for himself. He would protect himself. I ended up calling Joel that night and I said, so how'd it go with Jeffrey? Did you get his halter off? And I looked outside, it was dark. He says, I'm just getting home. And he had been there for probably at least an hour, I'd say close to 2 hours, trying to get the halter off Jeffrey.
Good. So he's fine with us touching his head there, but when we transition to that neck and body, he really gets concerned.
Most people would have taken that mule, Jeffrey, and said, hey, turn him out to pasture, turn him back free.
You know, it's funny. I've done this obviously a lot too. I could reach out and back with this lead rope flicking, and it's fine. But if I drop that lead rope, all of a sudden, my hand turns into a snake. I'll be completely honest, guys. This is really pushing me as a trainer. Do I think I'm going to be able to ride Jeffrey? Yes, I do. Man, it is going to be a long road, though. I guarantee you that. This isn't about making money off of Jeffrey. This is about giving him a fair start in life and about pushing myself to the limit of what I can do. Sucker. You know, this is a little more nervousness than what he's usually giving me. You gotta do things a little different because the things that work for me aren't working. It's amazing just how much comfort being next to another horse like this brings to these nervous animals.
Joel was not going to hide anything.
Just got a saddle set on Jeffrey's back, but then he kind of scooted it off. He was tied up,
I was in kind of our other room where we work some horses, and then all of a sudden I hear a crash, bang, boom, and then Joel kind of give out a few grunts, and I was like, ooh, that's a long one. I better go in and check and make sure everybody's still okay. And I went in, and Joel's sitting in the chair, and he's out of breath, and Jeffrey just kicked me 5 times.
Turned into me and about kicked me 5 times. You sucker.
I could just feel the emotion in your voice. I don't know if you were gonna cry or you were scared, but you were thinking, oh my gosh, what have I just gotten myself into?
Then we took Jeffrey down into the chutes, into like little standing stall to be able to kind of just get up beside him, get up above him, and we actually cinched him up in that standing stall that day. And it really took an amazing turn to watch Jeffrey actually accepting the saddle.
Well, right now my plan is to let him stand here, to let him move around a little bit on his own, get used to it. Then we'll get him out of here and finish the session with them.
So we took him over to the round pen. I was filming the video as Jeffrey's first time in the round pen, and as I was filming, he kind of started crow hopping, and I'm looking through the camera and I'm still trying to make sure I got a good angle. And I kind of look up and I realize Jeffrey's right on top of me. And I said to Joel, kind of like when you look in your car mirror and it says objects are closer than they may appear. It was kind of like that because I had the camera zoomed out a little bit. So I looked up and I was like, whoa, Jeffrey's right on top of me.
Oh my gosh. Well guys, is Jeffrey gonna make it? You tell me. We're not giving up.
I do spend a lot of time doing these different groundwork exercises. The first month and a half felt so long. The battle never seemed to end. I felt like I would get so far one day and the next day we'd be back down to 0. It was tough to see that progress. You know, yesterday he was a gem, honestly. I really like how he's doing this. Honestly, this is real nice. He's licking and chewing over here, great sign.
Joel was working real hard trying to figure out a way to get through to him. And I remember I was at this clinic with Sid Cook up here in Alberta, and he offered to help these people lay down their horses, and it was wild. It was like a switch was flipped. And so I was telling Joel about this, and I was like, I have no idea if this is something that would help Jeffrey or not. These horses were nowhere near what he is, but it kind of blew my mind seeing the change in those horses.
I'm gonna try and get my one leg hobbles on his one front leg, and we're gonna try and lay him down. Now, I don't know if I'll be successful. The whole Jeffrey journey here, I don't know if there's success in the end, but we're sure gonna give it our best shot.
So Joel, he's kind of, at this point, he's like, what is there to lose? We gotta try something. So he decided he was gonna give this a go.
It's amazing the difference when you take a horse's leg away. You know what? I don't mind if he goes out and moves around. So he gets a release every time he comes back and into that position. I'd like to just lay him flat eventually here. We'll see if it makes a difference.
I think it was maybe the next day, it wasn't too long later, he sent me a video after he had laid Jeffrey down.
Guys, I'm not a big believer in one thing changes a mule forever, but I want you to see the difference in this mule. Like, I haven't worked with him. He's not sweaty. He's not worked up today.
And when he sent me that video, it was wild, the change from the day before to the next day.
You guys have seen the mule I've been working with the last number of days. Like, this is a game changer.
Yeah, just amazing.
All of a sudden I was like, dang, like Jeffrey's got a chance to be something. I got real excited.
There's been a lot of comments talking about, oh, you haven't done enough groundwork, or oh this, oh that, about just basically saying Jeffrey's scared, he doesn't trust me, all these different things. I've been playing with Jeffrey for just a little over a month.
When you start working with a horse or a mule, you kind of got to keep things rolling. You always got to, you kind of can't get stuck in a rut. So once you got the saddle on Jeffrey, it was, well, we can't just let him wear the saddle for a month.
So a mule like Jeffrey, is he ever gonna calm down? Is he ever gonna trust? Is he ever gonna, I don't know. And so I could sit here and do groundwork for months on end, but I think there's a point when you start to plateau. And so where you're making progress, and then all of a sudden you're just gonna flatline or go back down. He needs something different. He needs change, and I need to keep bringing change into the picture, or else he will flatline like that.
If you kind of keep the ball rolling, keep their mind in that learning mentality, they seem to accept new things a lot more easily.
It was hard. It was very discouraging, I think, even for me being around to see Jeffrey kind of not making progress some days, and some days just taking 10 steps backwards.
Now ask him to side pass away from me. When he does it right, I'll come in, rub him.
Put out the advertisement for the Facebook Live of riding Jeffrey, and once he did that, it's like, well, there's no going back now. We're committed.
Hey guys, so really exciting, nerve-wracking, all the above. We got Jeffrey back here.
And so he had me come in and get on his good horse Flash, and you know, I was honestly thinking that this was gonna go okay. It was either gonna go okay or it was gonna go real bad. There's no middle ground where it could just go like all right.
So the game plan is gonna be getting him up real close to Flash here. I'll get on him, and we're just gonna try and break his feet loose.
Moving Jeffrey around, petting him on the forehead. He was doing pretty good with Flash, and you know, I thought we were in a pretty good place. I thought he was ready. And yeah, when he got on and we started moving around, dang, that went pretty good. I don't think we could ask for any better. He maybe humped up for half a second there, maybe 2 jumps, and that was it.
He feels honestly pretty relaxed, like he's watching me and paying attention, but he's not overreacting, not really goosing or grabbing his butt hot.
It was exciting seeing where he came from, and all of a sudden Joel's riding him, and I helped Joel with the first few rides and got Jeffrey kind of settled in where he was comfortable with just his interns giving him a hand. Yeah, Jeffrey almost made Joel swear. He was close.
That's the stuff right there. One of the best comments the other day, someone says, you can't pet him, but you could ride him. And yeah, this is the moment. If you thought the first ride was what I was actually nervous about, you were wrong. And if he takes off, I want Nate to kind of cut across to kind of get ahead of me a little bit, but just so I can come up alongside him like this and pull into him to help me slow down. Everything I said about being afraid a few minutes ago, guys, forget about it. Now I feel like $1,000,000. He's been a bit of a wild card for me, but I think we got a pretty dang good start now.
He made some pretty good progress right off the bat, but it seemed like, you know, it was maybe 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
He's really turning a leaf, but there's moments he reminds us that he's still Jeffrey.
And there was constantly the discussion, like, is this gonna work? Is he gonna is he gonna make it to the makeover? And I mean, it was just put your head down and just keep working at it. And
there's the energy. Hold that face. Really soft. Soften and shape up, and then he gets that release as soon as he does.
one day, Jeffrey, it's like Joel feels like he could take him to the moon. There's nothing this mule can't do. And then the next day, he's on his butt in the arena with Jeffrey bucking away. Everybody remembers that.
This is one of those really having to regulate my emotions days. I don't know, it's just very frustrating, you know? We've had some great days. He's had 2 days off for the weekend, and I have a feeling that's contributing to this. He has his down days.
Just the grind, day in, day out.
So there, like the remedy for that, forward movement. Touch him with my spur, and he crosses over. Oh, I feel like you saw that give at the end there. That was beautiful.
And just having to, come at him from every angle. Trying one thing, it's not working, and pivot and got to try another thing, and that works for a couple days, and then all of a sudden it's not working. And so it was constantly that 2 steps forward and 1 step back. We had the great days like that ride in Waterton. Like, he was a champ on that. They took him, got him out there swimming. So you see moments like that, and you get excited, like he's gonna be something. And then the next day, he's Jeffrey. When you look back, there's steady progress, but when you're in it and you're having those struggles, it's hard to realize the gains that you're making. They might be small, but when you look back, a few weeks, something that you're doing today, you would never think would be possible.
I didn't think I was going to, but Jeffrey was doing so good there when I was just putting around between classes that I decided I would ride Jeffrey for one of my sessions in the clinic. It was really cool to see how talented he really was. He can spin better than any animal I've ever trained. And we'll try a hip in. Yes, very nice. Oh yeah, there, he got that hip to the left real nice. Straighten him up. There was an athletic aspect to him that I never saw. We're getting there. For the wild little donkey he was, I'm very happy with how he's coming along.
Jeffrey probably wouldn't fit 80% of the people out there that thought they were a rider, but it fit Joel. The mule learned to trust Joel. It rides around better than most mules that's out there been riding for, years and years.
I put so much work into it, and Jeffrey put so much work into it. We'd given a piece of each other. The long mane and my hair. I've always said I'd go to hell if I cut his mane off. So to pay homage to the journey, I wanted to drop a piece of both of our hair in the arena dirt to wish us good luck at the makeover and to think about the whole journey we've had.
Right here from Canada. Oh my God, here he comes on Jeffrey. Who's a Jeffrey fan? Oh, look at here, we got Jeffrey and Joel Lybbert.
The mule that showed up at the makeover with me, man, I could not have asked anything better. Jeffrey was on fire.
The heads were turning, the Jeffrey story. Joel's nowhere around, and I'm just hanging out by the stalls, and everybody's walking by like, oh, there's Jeffrey. They're asking me like that's Jeffrey? Tell them, yeah, that's Jeffrey, the one and only. sitting under the big fan with his mane floating in the breeze like Fabio.
I wasn't actually able to make it down to Missouri, but I was able to watch live on Facebook. Joel was going through his ranch riding pattern. Jeffrey always struggled with his right lead, and every time Jeffrey would hit one, I would jump right up off the couch. I was like, yes, he did it, he did it! And then when he hit that right lead, I just was pacing around the house watching the videos, so excited. He just blew my mind away.
You prepare and you prepare, but you get there with the grandstand cheering, and there's just so much pressure. You don't know what they're gonna do. But Jeffrey, and Roscoe, man, those guys showed up. It was impressive.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Alberta, Canada, may I present to you Joel Lybbert and Jeffery.
It was very humbling being there and the people just constantly approaching me and congratulating me on how well Jeffrey had done. This was before the results of the makeover were out. This was just people who loved Jeffrey and loved the process.
If you're a Jeffery fan, let him know it. Come on, Missouri, let's make some noise for Joel and Jeffery.
I feel that Joel had the best trained mule at the Missouri Mule Makeover 2023.
It was really amazing to watch Jeffrey win the championship.
It has been inspiring. When you go into these competitions, it just pushes everybody to their limits. It makes them try harder, it makes them dig in. It's definitely made me reflect on my horsemanship, and it's all about what can you do to get better. That's the name of the game.
Everything that happened from day one was incredible. There's so much stuff that I could talk about, but it's just, every day working with this mule and seeing his progress, it's been an absolute pleasure to see what Joel can do with horses and mules.
Joel showed to where he could take that totally untouched mule and come and win one of the toughest competitions that there is, far as these trainers that want to get in it.
I knew it was going to be a long road when I started it, and if I committed, I needed to commit to the fullest of my abilities. I think Jeffrey and where we got is something I can be proud of. I couldn't have asked for anything more in the end. We had the opportunity to film a 22-episode training series with Jeffrey. Now, this isn't your conventional step-by-step method because there are so many wild card aspects to this journey, but I can promise you this, that there is so many educational points in this. If you followed the Jeffrey series on my website, you'll learn so much. You'll gain a lot as a horseman. It's on barjailhorsetraining.com in our membership area.
If you're wanting to be a better trainer, or if you're wanting to learn, or if you're just wanting to be a better person in your life, see what he's offering and try to learn from his life experiences on how it made him to be a champion.
And keep pushing yourself. Do hard things. It's so worth it.